Obviously, my camera's not working today. Hang on.
GMB leads will get in onesies, gets in 20s and 30s at a time. And you could use that and grab the emails off of there and phone numbers.
Mhm.
But a good scraper, you're going to scrape more than you're ever going to need. And this method of work. At one time, there was a software that would do this based on GoDaddy itself. I can't remember it. It's been
There's dozens of them out there. Jack Hopman
yeah,
has one. David Sprague has one.
yeah. So if you
Hundreds of
want
them.
to, automate some of it, there's tools out there to do it. But for those of you that are particularly just starting out in local and want to try and get a foothold, this is a way to kind of grease the wheels, so to speak, make the path easier. Now, you want to specialize in what you're offering. What's the easiest path and why? Come on, we're going to be interactive today. Why is this path easier? Anybody want to take a gander?
Because it's a case study and they don't feel like you're selling them.
Well, they can see the case study, number one. They see the case study having results and it's verifiable results, and they've held it for XYZ about a year now, right? So it's proven itself as being able to accomplish what we're trying to sell them, right? That takes the credibility factor off the table. When you cold call somebody, they don't know you from Adam. If they don't open your stuff or take your call, you can't prove you're legit or not legit. So you have that factor based in their resistance to you. To win a sales presentation, you have to do what? You have to eliminate the obstacles for the client because they're going to put some obstacles in your way. But if you take those obstacles out of the equation before you ask for the sale, they can't give you an objection that isn't viable anymore. Right? Let me show you what I mean. In a one-on-one sales presentation, I would take and ask a series of questions that the only answer is yes. And when I ask that question to somebody, I'm shaking my head up and down, up and down. Now, I want you to try this, and this will help you understand the principle. Shake your head up and down for 3 questions in a row. I want everybody to do this now. When you get finished, try and shake your head no and see what happens. It's not comfortable, is it? It's not comfortable any longer. Okay? We're going to take and make it uncomfortable to say no. That's the goal here. So in our presentation or our white paper, we're giving them every reason to be optimistic that if we could do this for this client, we can do it for you. So then it only boils down to what? Price. Right? Now, how do we get around the price obstacle? Now, anybody going to talk here besides Carolyn and Patrick? Come on. Let's unmute and get into conversation, guys.
Give them proof.
Say that again, John.
Give them proof.
You've already given them proof in your white paper.
Okay, maybe a test run or a trial of some sort.
Now you're going in the right direction.
Mhm.
You've already given them proof you can do something, right?
Right.
So when we hit them with the price, we want to take and give them a trial that's less than our price. We want them to see the movement before the pay gets serious, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry. I'm having to go back and forth on mute because I'm in a garage right now. So
Oh, it's fine.
yeah,
It's
it's not
fine.
that I just got a lot of stuff going on in the background.
No problem. No problem at all. So as we're going through this, we set a parameter. You could do a half price first month or a $99 first month, even a $1 first month, and take the money out of the issue. Is it worth it to you? Guys?
Yeah, that it would be worth it.
Okay. So if we take the biggest objection you're ever going to have out of the equation, what happened to my closing percentage? Everybody see that? You just increased your closing percentage by anywhere from 30 to 50%. Right? Now, when you did that,
Yep.
you're gonna have to perform. You're gonna have to show a movement right away. Okay? We're gonna have to show them that not only did we sell them, we're gonna have that movement that they can see it happening. Now, here's some of the facts you really need to know. Okay? Because when you call, you're going to use this, when they call you, you're going to use this ammunition. What percentage of business increase is created by being in the 3-pack? If you never remember one sentence I tell you, remember this one. Come on, folks. Put on a thinking hat. Give me some guesses. No, we're looking for more of a percentage, James, than
30% more.
the actual figure is 40%.
Mm.
So adversely, not being in the 3-pack or dropping out of the 3-pack means what?
Zero.
Reduction of
It's a reduction. If it gained 40% by being in the 3-pack, if you're in the 3-pack and drop out, you lose 40% of the new calls. Right? Drill this into your mind as hard as anything you can, because a couple things are going to happen on this journey. Okay? You're going to get somebody in the top 3, and now all of a sudden they think you got you there, and they don't need you anymore. And you're going to get that call that says, the partners and I discussed it, and we don't think we can budget this anymore. Okay? So what do you do once that happens?
You direct that juice to the competitor. You just stop promoting them and promote
Change the
somebody else. Tell
target.
them, look,
Mm-hmm.
Unplug it. Unplug it.
Find a new
You-
target and send it to them.
That's one thing I would do, but there's a better one. Because when you unplug them, you're going to get that phone call in about 2 weeks from now. Some of you have heard me say this before. How do you handle the call the return call after they dropped you 2 weeks ago and they call you back and say, well, the partners have talked it over now, and we think we probably can keep this in the budget. Right? What's your response?
Look, I promoted HVAC number 2 in the market, and I'm giving him the same rate you had. So for me to move off of him, I'm going to have to add 20% to the fee that we were charging in the past.
Well, I wouldn't be so specific,
Mhm.
but you're close. How I handle it is, you know, John, when you left, I was fully staffed at that time. We added a new client when you left. And in order to take you back on, I have to hire and train a couple new people, and I can't do it for the same price we started you at, because, you know, these people get more that we hired. You know, the economy's yada, 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 and inflation and et cetera. So look, it's going to, I've got to increase at least 15% just to take you back on.
Let me ask you something, Gary. So let me ask you, if you plugged in HVAC number 2, getting all the juice that this guy was getting, number 1 was getting, and number 1 comes back, now you're going to have to get 2 of those guys up into the 3-pack. You're going to have to bring number 1.
I wouldn't. I would never
Mm-mm.
plug in
Mm-mm.
right away until I'm past that 2 to 3 week period. Because I'm almost guarantee you 50% of the time you're going to get that call that they want to go back on.
And if he comes back 5 weeks later, and you got this other guy up in there,
TLC. Yep.
can you put 2 of them in the 3-pack now? Or is that the challenge?
That's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, don't people
Chances
want
are-
exclusivity?
Chances are I wouldn't take him back on at that point, because I've already brought in the new client, and they'd be
Right.
competing against each other. So I have that mindset that I'm gonna wait at least 3 weeks before I plug in a new client. If they haven't called you in 3 weeks, they're not gonna call you. Okay? If they do call me, I'm gonna refer them to somebody else.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I heard somebody say exclusivity. Maybe we entered an exclusivity agreement with this guy when he was a client, or a gal when she was a client. And you just have to explain to them, look, I entered into another exclusive contract. I can't, in good conscience, compete against another guy.
Exactly how my approach would be. But if you give it 3 weeks, they haven't
Mhm.
called you by 3 weeks, the odds of them calling at that point, because they're embarrassed by what they did.
Yeah, sure.
Chances are, if they didn't call you in 3 weeks, they call somebody else because they're embarrassed. Okay? So you have that factoring in. Okay? So, everybody see where we're headed with this concept? We're mailing in some way 2,500 per day or so, whatever, at least Monday through Friday, or whatever rate you want to do. Now, I'm going to repeat this, because if you use GoDaddy for this, every 2 to 3 months, it's going to start ghosting on you. How do you know when it's ghosting? Anybody know?
You're not getting the calls anymore.
That's one way to tell. Another way
You're not getting the email that you sent to yourself because it's ghosting you, and it's you.
is ghosting you too. So you want to have your email in that list somewheres on every single account that you're using. At least one of the 500 should be you. Okay? If the mail stopped coming to you, they're not going to anyone else. So we're talking less than $7 a month to open up a new one, do it all again, and set it up. Now, if you get software to do it, you have to set up the SMPT. Okay? And I would check some videos on YouTube how to do it. It's not difficult once you've done it a few times, but it's a pain in the butt. Let me put it that way. I hated every time we had to change the damn domain and set it all up again. But it worked. That's the key to it. It generates calls.
Now, did they
Okay?
check to see if you have a legitimate website up, or is it just using it for the purpose that you just said?
Yeah, we never put a website up. Only thing we did was set up the mails. Okay? It was
Okay.
never used for actually hosting a domain. So it's a very inexpensive way to do it. The biggest thing that you're dealing with is the cost of any softwares that you include in this process. You can manually do it, or you can get software to do it. The software will automate it, and then you're just loading it up, clicking it, and what the software will do once you have all your email accounts and logins loaded in, the software will automatically count and move to the next account for you. So as it goes to email 1 and you hit $4.99, it'll move automatically to email 2 and so on and so on and so on. Is this making sense for everybody?
Yeah. Do you have an email program that you recommend for that you think is reasonable? That's
I don't currently, because I haven't done this now for, Lord, 6 years or better since I've been doing it. So I'm kind of out of the loop as far as what software is working. There was one I really liked, but it's no longer available. It was pretty inexpensive, but it was made specifically for this.
I think what you're gonna have to find is you're gonna have to like get one of these warm-up accounts. And the only reason that I say that is because you know that 99% of them are they're spam. You're spamming everybody, right? Because you don't have a list, you're uploading a list. And one of the things about these emails, that companies are asking is, when you upload your list, like I go to Aweber and I upload a list. Is this your list or did you buy a list? Now, if you lie, you can lie. But, when you start sending, 500 emails out and you get one reply every single time, you're going to get banned over a period of time.
About 2 to
Okay.
2.5, 3 months, you'll be switching accounts. Okay.
Right? So you just go get another GoDaddy account and do it all over again and
Do it
so
all
forth
over
and so
again.
on. But the other way to do that is if you have, there's a bunch of programs out there like AppSumo and the others where you can just buy a Gmail or you can buy an email warmer. I'll just call it a warmer upper, if you will. And you put them in there and it just cross sends emails to every one that's in that you create in there, right? So it kind of looks like there's real activity so that when you go out and do something, you're not going to get whacked as fast. But you'll still get whacked, right? You just can't keep sending out emails and have 0 replies and 0 opens. They've got software detection that will say, okay, you're just spamming people.
Hey, guys, there was a loophole that they eventually closed that was great. And
Don't work anymore.
It won't work anymore, but there was a time you could send emails through a mobile device and it had no limits. You could send 1 million emails through a mobile device. But
Mm.
they closed that loop eventually after about 11 or 12 months of people just hammering the heck out of it. So they became aware of it real quick and closed it.
Yeah,
But
what
it
we
was-
could do, Gary, is we could get Chris to fire up the GMB leads thing
Uh-huh.
and see if we can get that operating and running again. Just kind of give that to everybody to play with, to use that as a scraper too.
Yes. That's my thought.
Vincent says GMass works.
Vincent, unmute and tell us about GMass.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Copy.
GMass is a Gmail tool so that you can a lot of tools on Black Hat World. I'm a old school Black Hat for emailing, so you can actually use GMass to send out a certain amount of email through Gmail, and it works pretty well. And you can usually clean lists through there, so you can test stuff through there. It won't let you send a lot, but if you put multiple accounts in there, it'll work.
When you
Okay.
say a lot, what does that mean? 50, 100?
Yeah, usually 50, 100, couple hundred, depending on how warm it is and so
Is that
forth.
per day or per week or per month or what?
Usually per day.
Okay.
So it's a good
So-
way. It's a good way to clean lists.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good input.
50 a day is 1,500 a month. I mean, it's
Yep.
not bad. So how many different GMass accounts can you create?
You could I mean you can create quite a few of them because it's like a connector.
Mhm.
Let's just put it that way. It's like your software. It sits in the middle,
Right.
opens it up, sets up the stuff that it needs to set up, and then just pushes it out to it.
Right. So you can go and create as many Gmail accounts as you can possibly create on one phone number, right?
Yep.
Because you got to validate the Gmail through your phone number.
Not always.
Well, typically for the normal people, right? Who don't know how to get around it. But normally you'll get to the point where it says you've done 8 Gmails. You can't use the same phone again to verify it.
Right.
Right. I mean, is that typically correct? Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, you can get around it, but for most people, it says, okay, now I got to go get a SIM card or got to go get this or whatever, and I can only do 8 Gmail accounts or whatever the number is now. They change it all the time, right? But that's maybe do a little training on that and show everybody how to use it. That'd be great.
Yeah. See,
We could do that.
guys, I want you to think in this way. The old way that I used to do it, generating 1 to 2 calls every week. Okay. Yet they had to download a PDF that was attached to my mail. We eliminate the download by using a doc on our drive that has everything we want them to see. Can you picture the percentage goes up because they don't have to download something?
Well, when you download, the fear is what?
Virus.
Yeah.
Correct. So you eliminate that goalpost right there.
Remember what we were talking about today. We eliminate every obstacle between us and the client. We take their objections away, done in a white paper, right? We take the price fear away from them before we get to the end. That's done in a phone call, right? What happens to our closing percentage with our clients if we can accomplish those things right there?
It goes up.
How high will it go up for you?
A lot higher than it would if you didn't.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay, guys, there was a time in the MLM business that I closed over 90% of calls for a period of time. Do you know how out of touch that really is in reality?
Yeah.
You can't hold it forever. No matter how good you are, you can't do it forever. Your numbers tend to balance themselves out. If you get too smooth, they're going to think you're too slick. Okay? You have to be down to earth with and be able to relate to the person you're talking to. Okay? Be it a plumber, be it an electrician, be it a lawyer, whoever it is, you have to have some relatability in your call. You've eliminated all the obstacles. You should be closing over 70% of those calls if you do it right. If you could close 70% of your calls, you're never going to look back. Why? Because that client you just closed and you started doing work for, and you accomplished what he needs, he, she, or they need, as far as the 3-pack, they're going to give you referrals to other people in business they know. Okay? Referrals are the easiest business in the world. You should close 100% of referrals. Ask for referrals after you have a client in the 3-pack. Who in here has ever asked their clients for a referral after they got them where they were supposed to get them?
Nobody, they don't do that anymore. That's old school.
Okay?
Well, I got a
Art?
question about that.
Yes.
Because you were okay. First of all, you said two things that they're the same but opposite. One was that you get them in for a teaser price first month, and then you got to show a movement. How long does it take? I mean, what tools would you use and put together first to get them as quickly as possible to show them movement? I assume within the first 30 days, because that's the trial period, right?
Right.
And then the next question is, when you turn somebody off, you said you might get a call within 2 weeks. How long does it take for the juice to start affecting their phone calls? So it's kind of the same question.
A day or two.
Huh?
Should anyway. I mean, it's
Should.
already programmed in. It's just redoing what it did before and everything. Like, here's an example to get to that's realistic, right? When we first started to do this, we had a gentleman, and it's Steve from UK. He always raises his hand when I tell the story if he's on the call. And so when we introduced Backlink Factory, he did 1 million backlinks to his GMB. Okay, 1 million. And because he was number 7 and he wanted to get to number 1. So guess how fast he got to number 1? 2 days.
2 days? Wow.
Okay. Guess how fast he was number 101 to 1,000?
Out.
7 days. Oblivion, gone, crushed,
Non-existent.
non-existent.
Okay.
All right. So guess how long it took him back to get back into the 3-pack, not number 1, but once he turned all those links off, okay, how long did it take him to get back into 3-pack? A week.
A week? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the illustration is when you're utilizing our tools to do this, you have protection, okay, against stupidity, which is what he did. But it ultimately ended up being okay because, yes, he hammered it that way. Oh, gosh, they gave him all the juice. He went to number 1. Oh, my gosh, he's spamming. It took him to couldn't even find him in the top 100. When you cut all that juice off, it just naturally did a drip back to where it should be normally based on what he did at the very beginning with some of the links. And it increased him from 7 to 2, but it also proved that we can be really stupid sometimes.
Let's talk about
Right.
the tools for a second, Patrick. Have you seen Randy's videos at all? I'm assuming you haven't by your question.
He's talking about the backlink and POI videos that Randy made.
Yes.
Yeah, I personally have not. I've seen the backlink and the POI factory videos. I've got them bookmarked. I'm rewatching the calendar factor stacker video right now.
Okay. So here's what Randy used was Backlink Factory, POI, and a light calendar. Okay. So he did a variation of a normal calendar stack at the end. But the bulk of the heavy lifting was done by Backlink Factory and POI combined. Now, the issue with POI is it will get too much data and you can't use that much data. So you have to eliminate some of it to stay under the 1,000. And realize when I say 1,000, 1,000 in Backlink Factory is 3,000. Okay. Why? Because we're talking the number of rows. It creates 3 rows in the sheet. So if you have 1,000 rows, 3 across, you have 3,000 backlinks. Okay. All anchor text to your keywords. So those are the basic tools you need for getting somebody into the 3-pack. But you have to do it properly. Initially, you do a good run once a week. Then you have to move to bi-weekly. Then you have to move to monthly. Then bi-monthly or quarterly. You can't keep stacking it without overdoing it. So after a while, you're maintaining and not building. Does that make sense?
Right.
For everybody?
So those videos you pointed out to me the other day when we were talking, those are the POI factory and, or I mean,
Correct.
yeah, those are
That's-
videos I should watch. Okay.
I want you, if you're gonna do 3-pack and local marketing, that becomes your Bible.
Okay.
You want to go back and review them after a while until you can see it in your sleep. Okay?
Yeah.
When you master something to that degree, you don't need instructions. You can just go right through the steps because you know every step without even thinking about it. If you're going to do local marketing, become an expert in local marketing. Don't be satisfied with just being successful at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with the backlink factory and it makes and the POI, that works together. And does it point to the target, or do you still need a buffer?
You want a buffer.
You want, okay.
Okay.
And can a sheet or a doc be the buffer, or do you really need a G site or something to be the buffer?
It could be a sheet, could be a doc, it could be a
Anything.
YouTube video, it could be a keep document, anything that is got the word Google in front of it. Google.com sheets, Google, sheets.new, keep.new, YouTube. Whatever. You can take anything that you want to send to it within reason.
You know why we tend to use G sites above all others?
Well, I know why, because they rank, and then you got another entity on the front page of Google to take away somebody else's position.
That's true, but also with a G site, we can add all these other Google properties and beef it up so strong that we're sending so much power through one site to our target, be it maps, be it what have you. Okay. So the image I want you to keep, and you'll hear me repeat this. Think of a fire hydrant running through a straw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, old school used to be people used to create thousands of backlinks from different places, all over the place, different sites. It took a long time to build it up, but they used different tools like Money Robot and different platforms to create thousands and thousands of backlinks and push it by sheer numbers. But Google made a lot of changes and made that model a lot more obsolete than it used to be,
Oh, more dangerous, actually.
and more dangerous because you can't remove those links.
Correct.
Those are the type of links that they're there and you can't do anything about them.
Now, one of the processes some people that are doing, just as an interruption, is they're using Money Robot and they're using, SE Autopilot. We use Luke's tool as well, and we're sending those links to the actual G site, which is the buffer page to your homepage. You never send anything to your homepage or your GMB or whatever, or you have to send it through one of the Google properties. Does that make sense?
Right. What is that? You said Luke's tool? Somebody just said that's awesome. What is? Did you just mention some other tool you were saying?
Yeah, Luke's tool is like SEO Autopilot. It's like Money Robot. We promoted him about 6 months ago. We actually use it as well. And it basically creates a lot of tumblers. It creates a lot of, high powered other authority site links, coming to your buffer page, i.e. your Google property, which then pushes it out to where you want it to actually go. Right.
Okay. So if I create, and so if let's say you've got that sheet and that sheet has those Scholar links, those are all going out to the Scholar links. How does it get to your target, website, the guy ABC, plumbing website? How do you?
Because when you go into the sheet, which Gary shares with you, where all the Scholar links are, the Google document, you change the content to fire it up to your site. So Gary, you can explain how you do that because it's pretty brilliant.
Well, I tend to use, say, the Scholar links into a document. Let's go to one of my drives real quick.
It's so simple, it's ridiculous.
Let's go over to the drive and we'll find one for you. Let's see.
So while you're looking for that, Vincent, what kind of results are you getting, and how are you using Luke's links with the Google properties?
I'm actually using Luke's tool to push links to my Zista sites.
Okay.
And then using that to link out. So I'm doing some cloud stacking stuff with the Zista stuff, which is fantastic. Especially, I don't know if you saw the integration that they have to all the cloud sites. It's really, really cool. You can automatically just upload everything straight to it.
Yeah, well, it's doing a great job with Zista. We promoted it for him. I mean, we actually built out a 360-page dentist PBN for him, actually, using Zista, and they all freaking got indexed too right away. So,
can you see my page at all?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Vince. Appreciate it.
If you look,
No worries.
These links are carrying a lot of authority. They're also carrying the citations with them. So on this particular site is also embedded on a home remodeling site, Gmail. Okay. So this authority is passed through the G site and guilt by association carried to the target. Now, we do a combination of things. We take, let me go back. We also want to associate, what do we want to associate as well as the authority from these links?
Your keyword.
Keywords.
Right.
Correct. So the more keywords we can associate to our target and the more authority, and we're giving Google exactly what it realizes to, or they claim to be an expert on any subject. We call these authority docs for a reason. Google has declared YouTube, Scholar, Google Search, Wikipedia to be experts on any subject without question, right?
Okay.
Yep.
So if they reward an anchor text to a Wikipedia article or YouTube or something of that nature with a lot of authority, what will they do with 150 links based on the keyword, on your keywords?
Give it more authority.
More authority. So in ranking a client, the more authority we can give that client, how is a competitor supposed to compete with that? If all else is equal and we're doing this and they don't even know about it, and we're giving Google's authority from all 4 of their authority sites, what should be the effect, cause and effect, if everything else is correct? Now, I can't speak to the optimization of the target site. What I can tell you is authority outdoes relevance, which is just the opposite of what they claim. But I've proven it so many times that I know that what they're telling us is a myth. Okay? It's a ranking factor, yes. Okay, it is a ranking factor. But authority is a higher ranking factor that outdoes relevance.
Probably a debatable context, for and who you're talking to.
Yes.
So you wouldn't want to get into a pissing match with somebody on the other side of that aisle, right?
Yeah, they're
you
not
probably
gonna listen anyway.
You're probably not going to win that battle. But there's ways of us testing that, improving it, but we don't really need to go through that because the results that we're getting. But just think of it this way, very simply. You're giving more authority than anybody else is giving. And then when you create if you're even creating your G sites and you create the relevance of what it is that you're talking about, your content relevance, your page structure, and all the things that you're doing correctly with your G site and sending that G's back to the page, you're still doing more than anybody else is. And
exactly.
But then when you start firing up backlinks to each of these particular things, you have a better, I'll just say this, you have a better shot of your G site outranking your main site most of the time, if you do it right.
Guys,
Right?
Yeah.
while we're here, guess what we can do?
Well, that's an open-ended question. I guess
Yeah.
you're going to send me $1 million. Am I right?
We're going to add a comment. Now, in my comment,
Now you're deep in the digging a deep well.
in my comment, I can add a link to the back to the keywords for this particular file. Let's do that real quick.
But we're before where's the link that you said you put that was genius about putting the target link in?
Hold on, I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
We're gonna manually do this. So remember that was home remodeling, right? So we're looking for keywords for home remodeling.
Oh, I see. And that's where you put the links in on the keywords.
Guys, you're seeing stuff that nobody knows. Nobody's really ever done this.
Unless they've watched us do it.
That's the only way, okay? So I gotta get back to the right doc. That's not it. Home remodeling scholar, that's it. Now, we could bring this on down and comment more and link and just stack these links. Okay,
Answer
You
any.
only need the one comment. Where's the comment is on the entire document, or is the comment on a link?
it's on the entire document.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
It's associating the entire document.
Okay.
Okay, but here's what's happening, and so this is what to understand. As we stack these comments with relevance and links to other documents, RSS feeds, your comments, and so on and so on. As it gets stacked, Google's going to come in and read this. So maybe I have this document on a G site that's going to my target site for home remodeling, right?
Okay.
I'm stacking the authority and power and the association to this document, including the keywords I want relevant that we're pointing to a target through a G site or a buffer of some kind. Correct?
Right.
What we're going to end up with, if all else is equal, your competitors can't match this because they have no idea of what or how to do this. Okay?
So let me, okay, so if I can real quickly make sure I understand, you've got this list here on the doc. You take, you put a comment on the doc that says, hey, take a look at this keyword doc. The keyword doc has all the keywords and they are all linked to the site, your target site. Do you need more than that? I mean, is that a good enough buffer to go to your, or do you need a G site in addition to the doc with the target word list with the links to the target?
Here's what you need to remember. Are we talking a GMB? Are we talking a website, or what are we talking?
Website, let's say. Well, either one. What's
Website.
the difference? What's the difference in terms of how it will?
Well, with a GMB, I'm definitely going to use a buffer. Most of the time with a website, I'm going to use a buffer.
Always.
Unless I'm an Amazon, Etsy, YouTube as my targets. Those I would direct link.
But is the keyword list not enough of a buffer?
Well, I'm not using the keyword list as a buffer.
Not a buffer. It's just a
No,
document
but I was
that's
asking,
inside.
could you use it as a buffer? Have the keywords
Yeah.
all linked to the target
Yeah,
site?
yeah, you could. You can. Let me show you how to do it. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just
So-
wondering whether why is that enough, or should you do a G site to have those linked to the G site that links to the target site, is what I'm asking. How
There is no answer to your question, quite frankly,
okay.
right? And the reason is, how much water goes in the bucket?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you don't know how big the bucket is, right?
Yeah.
But
So you can't answer the question. So the process that we try to tell everybody is start with a process, do something, see what your results are, If you need more, do some more. Do some
Mm.
more, right? Because
Yeah.
there literally is no answer to your question because each site is different, all the content is different, the keyword is different, the authority is different, the competition is different. So it's just know your basic formula and begin at the beginning and then just do and wait and do and wait and do and wait and do and wait, right?
Yeah, okay.
Not a magic bullet. But you'll get to the point where you know what works for you and what you're trying to accomplish, with the subject that you're really trying to focus on.
Okay.
Trial and error.
Yeah. So
Right.
Hey, Gary.
let me,
Gary, before you go any further down this whole, not this as a whole, but can you just do a couple of housekeeping things like the calendar that I accepted and signed up for this session? I'm trying to actually the Zoom schedule. It's asking me when I go to put it on my calendar, do I want to change all of our meetings from here on out to this
No,
date? So
no.
okay.
no,
So
because
just this one to
we only moved this today so
Got
people
it.
could attend both. I
Okay.
prefer the 2:00
Yeah.
myself because we've gotten used to 2:00.
Right. Okay.
That
So I
that
didn't want to
link,
switch
We're
that.
good.
the
Yeah.
link I just put in the chat is how to anchor text keywords.
Oh, okay.
So
Got it.
if
And that was
anybody doesn't know it, doesn't have or seen that video, that's a link to that video.
And that was my next question about anchor text, or excuse me, the stuff that you're putting in chat. I know that I was in the car when you said you're going to drop a link for the 100 most used social sites in the
It's
the
in the
second.
beginning.
To the very, very big. I'll repost it for you.
Okay, that's all I was going to ask if you could do that because I've gone all the way through. I don't see it there. And the last thing, this is kind of trivial, but I see that we're going big now with the G sites training, that it's on Warrior Forum. And how worried do some of us early adopters need to be that, man, now the secret's out and everybody's gonna start blowing this thing up in Google?
I don't think that's number one, it's not a concern.
Mhm.
Number two,
Let me tell you. Let me interrupt, Gary. Let me give you some real awesome statistics. Right, we got deal of the day on Warrior Forum.
Mhm.
We saw 40 copies.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I don't think you need to be threatened by 40 copies. And
Okay.
remember, all that was the PDF was the PDF training.
Hmm.
It had nothing to do with the stuff that we're really talking about here today and getting into the weeds and using the software and all that and all the other stuff. Some of it's there, but most of it, is just the really vanilla stuff. And I wouldn't do it. Put it this way, Gary and I would not do it if we thought it was going to harm anything that we're doing here.
no.
Yeah, well, I'm not even concerned about like the average person that might buy off Warrior Forum because they say the stats for people that actually implement that stuff is real low. I'm more concerned about the Mickey Mouse coaches that will say, okay, I need a new method of the week to make my own training about. And now we got 30 of these guys that have never made a G site in their life out there teaching, G sites is the way to boost SEO. And it goes wide that way.
No,
It's
Yeah, it's
unlikely.
good
Two
thought. but-
things, two thoughts to it. Google's never going to shoot itself in the foot on its own properties. They make minor changes, but here's the thing I want everybody to understand. We have been immune from Google's algorithm changes for 7 years. We've never really been affected by them with anything we've done.
I wouldn't say that too frequently. You don't want.
Yeah, I don't want to advertise it too loudly.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my whole thing is that now, the lid's off the box and anybody can start, selling this stuff.
but
And putting it
this-
out
Let me
there.
let me stop. Let me answer your question. Right, you can go to Udemy,
Uh-huh.
and there's G site training on Udemy.
Gotcha.
So it's really, I don't think if we were to go out and try to do, a Warrior Forum or Zoom or something else, not Zoom, but the other one, whatever it is, I forget, JVZoo, and go through all the stuff that we did on our webinar when we shared all this with you,
Mhm.
That might be concerning. Because now we're telling people how to do all this stuff and we're showing it to them in
Mhm.
really super detail, right?
Mhm.
So all these people really got was that very first training on how to build a G site.
Okay.
And you can get that anywhere.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. That was, like I said, that was just a minor kind of a petty kind of concern, but I thought, oh, we're sitting on this pearl and I'm loving it, love the
Mhm.
community and everything else, and now all of a sudden, here come the knuckle draggers,
So how many of you were on
I
our
love that.
training 2 weeks ago where we used Google Keep and we stacked it from there?
I
Yeah,
saw it, but I have to go back and watch it again.
yeah.
I mean, what we're gonna try and do is put this together in a format that as you're going through and you're doing either local or you're doing affiliate market or whatever you're doing, that you can have an edge over virtually anybody. Now, we didn't really get into Facebook groups. I think we're gonna do that and then we'll close this. So if I'm gonna look for groups, let's say let's see what kind of groups that they come up with.
For what?
Plumbers.
Oh, plumbers. Oh, you're going to get a lot. A lot of plumbers, advertise on Facebook. It's a great,
Okay.
it's a great
So-
advertising source.
So what I'm gonna show you, there's 1.2, 4,000, 208,000. It's on, it's on, it's on, it's on.
Oh, but here's the funny thing, guys. They're doing it on Facebook and then they're doing Facebook ads, but go back to that plumber that's got 6,000 members. Look at how many posts they have in a month. 8, maybe 20, 4 posts a day. Most of these guys they have these sites up, but they don't even post.
Yeah. But their members read it, what's there. So here's what I want you to see. They're professional plumbers, right?
I think they are.
Now, remember our white paper. We have the ability to put our white paper into a doc and post in their room. Now, you could get yourself kicked out of there doing it. You might ask the administrator, but you have the ability to put your white paper as a post. And how powerful would it be to put something similar to not ranking in the 3-pack into the very people that want to be in the 3-pack? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an awesome sneak attack.
Okay. What we want is calls, right? Our phone numbers in the white paper.
Cool. Try it until you get kicked out. And when you
Ah,
when you get kicked out, you do
join some more.
No, you go back to the owner and you say, "Hey, Mr. Owner, how would you like to be our affiliate?"
Yeah, there's lots of
Right.
workarounds,
So,
but these are ways to generate incoming calls. So what we have to do is we have to make sure we have a very good white paper, model it after what some Randy stuff or stuff we do or in the past. And so look at the number of electricians. You think you're gonna run out of electricians groups to join? Guys,
127,000, 10 posts a day. Wow.
you see where we're going with this? any niche is gonna be just like this right here that you can think of. I can make my living off of Facebook alone. Okay? So what we're doing is giving you as many avenues to get as many incoming calls as humanly possible. How many do you need every day to be successful?
Well, I like
Yeah.
that number you said earlier, 1 or 2 a week.
Mhm, mhm.
yeah. You know, especially if you got a good closing rate and they're inbound, you know.
Inbound.
Yeah.
Another, I'll give you another source to check out, right? You can go to the National Chamber of Commerce. And then from there, you can pick the cities and states that you want to market to, and then you can download the actual Chamber of Commerce list from there.
There's another source that Patrick uses as well, Alignable.
Yeah, I checked that out since the last time you guys mentioned it.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
So these resources that you have keeps you from doing cold calling and uses a warm call instead. You're going to find the success rate between a warm call and a cold call is vastly different.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, we give away this stuff because we want you to have success. We want you to stand out from the crowd. So this training will vary from time to time on different subjects, but this is one of my favorites because a lot of our people are in local marketing or want to be in local marketing.
Love it. Hey, Patrick, before I know we're coming near to the end of the call, can you repost those links for the social sites?
Gary, you're going to have to. I tried to do that earlier. I can't copy and paste them.
Let me see if I can get. I can do
So
it
Vincent,
right.
there's another training you could do on how to use the social Chamber of Commerce and create a course on it and sell it. Do a training and sell it. You don't have to give it away. I'll promote it for you. Do a whole complete training on it. Charge everybody to learn it.
There we go, guys.
Yep, there you have both of them right there. I mean, that's what we're doing this afternoon with Anand. He's in the Quora group. I don't know if anybody here is in the Quora group, but within Quora, he created a tool to make Quora not painful because it's very painful. And so that's what we're going to be pushing today. So he's created a software out of something that he is part of. You can do the same thing here, create a training out of something that you're doing, put it up, sell it, we'll promote it. Don't have to give it away.
All right,
Gary.
guys.
Gary.
We're approaching 2:00.
And
So-
I'm not seeing that list in here.
It's
Is
in
there
there
any way
now
you
at
could-
the end. So
Yeah,
at the very
I
end.
scrolled all the way down. Is there any way you could put it into Skype so that
I can. If you hit me up on Skype, I'll send it through Skype for you.
Interesting.
sounds
You
good. I'll
don't-
do that.
You don't
Thanks.
see it, huh? You really don't
No,
see it?
it's the weirdest thing. The last one I have here, it says the chamber list works well from Vincent, and I don't have below that. And then true.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. You just get with me, and I'll be
Will
glad
do.
to. I'm glad to send them to you.
Yeah, it looks like
Appreciate
you
it.
sent it to everyone. But, anyway, that's weird.
Thank you.
All right, cool beans. I got to pop off because I got to go get ready for an end. So
Okay.
thanks guys for being here today. Hope it was worthwhile.
It was
Yeah,
fun.
always is. Always is.
It was fun, guys.
Definitely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye, guy.
Gary, you may have to do something at the very beginning because I think I forgot the first 7 minutes or something to record.
It's fine. It's fine.
All right. I'm going to end it now. See you guys.
See ya.